Many have heard of the 12 tribes of Israel, but few know the original map, the sacred plan that divided the promised land among the sons of Jacob. A map not born from human ambition, but drawn by God himself. It carries eternal promises, epic battles, tribal identities, and even mysteries that remain unsolved to this day. On this journey, we'll travel back thousands of years to discover how the promised land was divided, based on scripture, ancient maps, and archaeological findings. This is the true map of the 12 tribes of Israel. It all begins with one man, Abraham, the father of faith. In Genesis chapter 12, God made a powerful covenant with him. "Leave your country and go to the land I will show you. To your descendants I will give this land." The promise was renewed to Isaac and then to Jacob, who had 12 sons. These 12 men became the patriarchs of the tribes of Israel. But the story takes a dramatic turn. Because of a great famine, Jacob and his sons went down to Egypt, and there their people grew in number but became enslaved for 400 years. Then came Moses, who delivered the Hebrews with a mighty hand and led them through the desert. However, it was Joshua, Moses' successor, who actually led the people into the promised land. He led the conquest of Canaan. And after the victory, a new phase began, the distribution of the land. According to the book of Joshua, chapters 13 to 21, God commanded that the land be divided among the tribes, and it was done in a sacred way, by casting lots before the Lord, with Eleazar the high priest and the tribal leaders present. It was more than just a political division. It was the fulfillment of an ancient promise. Each tribe received its inheritance. Let's take a walk through this sacred map. Judah, the largest of the brothers, received a vast region in the south, including cities like Hebron, where Abraham's tomb lies, and eventually Jerusalem. Benjamin was just north of Judah, a narrow but strategic territory, including cities like Jericho and Bethel. Ephraim and Manasseh, the two sons of Joseph, received a special portion. Joseph does not appear as a tribe, but his sons take his place. Ephraim settled to the west in fertile land. Manasseh was divided. Half stayed west and the other half received land east of the Jordan River, a territory conquered before entering Canaan. Reuben and Gad, along with that half-tribe of Manasseh, also remained east of the Jordan. They requested this land during Moses' time, and he allowed it on the condition that they help conquer the rest of the land. Dan initially received land in the west near the Philistines, but due to conflicts, the tribe migrated north and conquered the city of Laish, which became known as Dan. Issachar, Zebulun, Naphtali, and Asher received portions in the north, fertile regions near the sea and mountains. Simeon was a special case. They received cities within the territory of Judah because Judah's inheritance was too large. And finally, the tribe of Levi received no territory of their own. They were the priests and servants of the Lord, so they were given 48 cities scattered among the other tribes, including the 6 cities of refuge. The tribal map was complete. It was a mosaic of families, lands, and promises. Fortified cities, sacred rivers, mountains, and valleys marked the tribal boundaries, and many of those cities still exist or have been uncovered by archaeologists. Hebron, where the patriarchs are buried; Shiloh, where the tabernacle remained for centuries; Bethel, the site of supernatural encounters; Jericho, the city that fell at the sound of trumpets. The stones speak and confirm these tribes existed, built altars, cultivated vineyards, and left a profound mark on the Holy Land's history. Over time, these tribes united under a king, first Saul, then David and Solomon. But after Solomon's death, the kingdom was divided. The 10 northern tribes formed the Kingdom of Israel, with its capital in Samaria. Judah and Benjamin remained faithful in Jerusalem, forming the Kingdom of Judah. In the year 722 BC, the Assyrian Empire invaded the northern kingdom. The 10 tribes were exiled and never returned as a united people. From there, the so-called lost tribes of Israel emerged. Many scholars and religious groups have tried to trace their whereabouts. Some theories point to Ethiopia, India, Afghanistan, China, or even Celtic tribes in Europe. None have been fully proven, but the mystery remains. The map was broken, but the story wasn't over. In the vision of the prophet Ezekiel, chapters 47 and 48, God reveals a new division of the land among the tribes, a future restoration. And in Revelation 7, 12,000 from each tribe are sealed by God during the last days, showing that God has never forgotten his tribes. Even those lost in history can still have a prophetic role. Today, the modern state of Israel doesn't follow these tribal divisions, but remnants remain. Ancient city names, preserved traditions, and even genetic tests identifying descendants of Levites and Kohanim, priests. The map of the 12 tribes is more than geography. It's identity, faith, and promise. A powerful reminder that God fulfills what he promises, and that even when the story seems lost, no tribe is forgotten by him. May this sacred map remind us of an eternal truth. Every place where God made a promise, he also prepared a purpose. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel. At the end of this journey, as we look at this ancient map, marked with lands, borders, and the names of tribes, we begin to realize that it's far more than geography. It's a living memory. Each division, every city, every piece of the promised land carries not only a family heritage but an eternal purpose. This wasn't a map drawn by kings or by ambitious men. It was designed by God. And that changes everything. Because when God draws a path, he also sustains every step. When he sets apart a land, he prepares the hearts that will dwell in it. And when he makes a promise, he himself ensures that it will be fulfilled, even if time passes, even if people forget, even if walls fall. The story of the 12 tribes is above all the story of God's faithfulness. A people once enslaved, then freed, guided, divided, and still upheld by his hand. Even when they failed, even when they were scattered, even when they seemed to vanish from history, God never erased their names, and that says a lot about who he is, because if he didn't forget entire tribes, he surely won't forget you. Maybe today you feel like you're far from your territory. Maybe your life feels like a broken map, confusing, full of loss, full of questions. But just as God had a specific plan for each tribe, even those that seemed lost, he has a detailed plan for your life too. And that plan doesn't depend on your perfection, it depends on his faithfulness. When I look at this map of the tribes, I can't help but think, how many times has God already drawn paths for you and me that we couldn't see at the time? How many promises has he already begun to fulfill, even when everything felt stuck? This ancient map, with names like Judah, Benjamin, Ephraim, is not just a piece of history. It's proof that God knows exactly where to place each one of his children. And even if time passes, if nations forget, if borders shift, the purpose remains. Because with God, no promise is ever lost. No tribe is ever forgotten. No child is ever ignored. Let this sacred map be a living reminder to you. Where God makes a promise, he also plants a purpose. And where there is purpose, there is hope.